Information. This is a very important piece in your toolbox. You can convey information through proposals and presentations, but you can do it a number of other ways. You can do it through your flyers. You can do it this way. Excuse me. People. This is an important part in your toolbox. The people around you, your teams, your boss, your partners, everyone there. But then you also have other experts, and it's okay to go into a place or a facility or a customer and tell them that I brought somebody with me. I brought an expert. I brought my compliance officer. They will actually appreciate that. They don't expect you to know everything about everything that you do. What they do expect is that you have the resources or you have the knowledge to find those answers or bring those with them. What you're doing is you're creating confidence. You're creating confidence for your consumer. How many of you talk to your compliance person? How many of you understand the billing in your department? How many people understand utilization or operations and what their goals are and what their needs and what their requirements are? If you can start understanding their environment, what's driving them, you may find out that it's different than yours. But you also may find out that they parallel each other. The more you understand the different areas and use your toolbox, the more you'll start separating yourself from your competition. And you'll be able to create a much better understanding. Does that make sense? Any questions? So yesterday Glenn talked about many different types of customers we have. And so what I want to do is I want to take that hospital situation, Stanford University. This is just an example. We did a proposal for Stanford University. And so before we went there, we had to put our market strategy together as a company. We had to decide what our goals were, how we were going to do it, formulate our questions. Then we were awarded Stanford, which was great. But the real customer, my customer, was Peg Albright's. She's the head of case management. Because again, my job is more on the individual level, right? So we have the company level, and then we have the individual, the business development. And this will apply anywhere. So as soon as I understood who my customer was and started understanding that and what I needed to influence, to make her a coach or a champion, then things start really getting fun and rolling. So Glenn, yesterday we talked about it with competition. I'll come back to Peg in just a second. This is what we all want. We want them to select the best. We want them to select us. And again, understanding our customer and who it is. First we understood our environment, and then we have to understand theirs. We can't get them to select the best if we skip the process that they go through. They have to understand. And in the picture before, and Glenn talked about it a little bit yesterday, with the customer side, we have to create the understanding. And by that, we can give them options. We can give them choices to make the best. So we did that. We did it with Stanford, right? And you're going, well, okay, but we already have Stanford. There's many things that I want to continue to do inside with them. Then you have to understand, what are you trying to get out of seeing 50 clients in a month? Is it better to go see 5 clients in a month? Is your goal going into an appointment to get the contract? Is that the end? Going to a skilled nursing facility? Everybody in our area, oh, we need to see the administrator to get a contract. We've gotten dozens of contracts with administrators and not got any phone calls. Does that make sense? So you have to understand what that goal is. The goal might be to see the administrator just so you can get to the social workers. Just so you can say, no, I have permission for you to call me now. Those kinds of things. So to get started, get those questions. The communication is the most important thing when you get in there. Having a superb communication, what I like to call it, getting the information ahead of time. That's the blending in. Trying to understand what their needs are. Get information out of them. Giving information, giving good information is key. The pizza party's great, that's the awareness, and it goes, but that's where it stops. And then getting the commitment. What was your goal? What was it? Don't do all of this work, don't spend all of this time unless you're willing to get the commitment. And the commitment may be just another appointment, but it has to advance you along. Does that make sense? And then whenever you finish whatever that piece is, go back and assess it. Don't keep repeating the same thing over and over.
May I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Does it matter if you go to the administrator first or the director of nursing or social service? Who do you go to first in a new facility?
Who?
Which one do you go to first, the administrator?
What's your goal?
Or the people that call for transport?
Well, to do that, that's a great question. You have to understand the environment of that place. Can you get past the person at the front desk, the gatekeepers we like to call, to go straight to the floor to get them to call you? Me personally, I want to get in the hospital and I want to go see the administrator first. That's the first ground level if we're talking about skilled nursing. But I also know most administrators, if they don't hear from anybody on their floor and they don't get any bills, they never walk outside their office to see what's going on. So that's kind of your assessment. You want to assess the environment. You want to assess if that's true. Maybe you have a very interactive moon. But I'll always shoot for the moon, you know, and see what we can grab. But my goal is really the people that call on the floor. It's just like Peg at Stanford. She influences 80% of my business out of Stanford University. So she is my customer. Just as an ambulance company, you know, our customer is the hospital and it's the skilled nursing. Our customer is not the patient. The EMT, their customer is the patient. So it's just designing and understanding who that customer is and what your goals are.
Thank you.
So everyone's a little bit different.
Want to ask a related?
Yes, absolutely.
Related question to build on this lady's question.
Sure, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm listening.
You made an analogy earlier about inside of your organization, you know, I think it's critical for you and your function as a business development person to kind of have an understanding of the other facets of your business, compliance, administration, you know,
Right.
your whole service line and what you can offer, that kind of thing. What are the common disconnects you see between, you know, if we start with the administrator of the hospital and we say we can offer you service X, Y, and Z and D's on the way and you're going to love it and give us a chance, that kind of thing, and you make the sale.
Right.
But like you said, your real customer is case manager.
Sure.
What are the primary disconnects you see between those two people, the administrator and the case manager? How have you been successful kind of making them understand each other better for our purposes and transport?
Right, in the hospital. So in administration, more about dollars. Things are changing right now. The insurance is changing. The environments are changing. You know, nurses are now 7, 8, 9 to 1 ratios, those kinds of things. And so hospitals, at least the ones that I've been going through and familiar with at an administrative level, their goals are more about efficiencies of moving a patient, you know, the time it takes to get a patient through the hospital, how to turn over a bed, how to do that, look at the bottlenecks in the system. And so when we go in and maybe we're speaking to an administrator, what we're trying to do is, again, I try to blend in with their environment, and I do that. I'm on committees inside the hospitals. I'm on the administrative level on those things. And so you approach it completely different. My goal is to get the call, right? That's how we make our money. We get the call out of there. But if I go in there and say, I'm going to give you excellent patient care, they'll be, yeah, okay. And I'm going to give you really clean rigs, they'll be, yeah, okay. Because they're outside, they never see it, they're not involved. But if I start saying, well, I can give you free advertising dollars to promote your hospital in the community. I can help you with your patient satisfaction that will help you with your Medicare reviews that will keep your funding going. Okay. I can say that I could reduce this whole section of your transfer center. You don't need to do it, you don't need to pay for it, and yet I can make you more efficient. So there's a disconnect, and I'm kind of trying to set it up there so you have this administration, you're talking about it, but you can go to case management. Hey, I have clean rigs. That's great. I have patients, I want them in a clean rig. I can move your patients through very quickly. That doesn't necessarily ring a bell. But what I can do is I can say, I can reduce the time that you have to sit on the phone, or I can reduce the time that you have to prepare paperwork, or I can make it more efficient for you so that you can concentrate on patient care. And I can do this in XYZ ways. So there, for instance, we use TraumaSoft because it's a great example. Peg at Stanford, 80% of all her calls